I think the most important training principle for beginners to learn is to learn how to train hard. I think that's the most important thing. And the reason for it is because a lot of beginners don't know how to train hard. Now, me, I've been training for a few years now. I'm in the intermediate stage, and training hard for me isn't a problem. I know what it feels like to do those tough, grindy reps. I know what it feels like to push a set close to failure. I know what it feels like to tell your mind to shut off when your mind's telling you, yeah, we're done, let's rack the weight. And you have to tell your mind, like, no, shut the fuck up, bitch, we still got another 2 reps. I know what that's like because I've been training for a long time. But what I realized recently, working really close with beginners recently, these motherfuckers don't know how to train hard. Like, you beginners, I'm not dissing here. Let me be clear. I'm not trying to piss you off, bro. I need the views. But you beginners can't push yourself close to failure. You don't know what that feels like. You've not experienced those slow, tough, grindy reps. Those ones in which you're pulling ugly faces. Those ones in which you feel the burn in your quads, but you still keep going. You still keep doing those leg extensions despite the burning sensation. Like, you guys have a very low like tolerance to uncomfortableness in the gym. As soon as a set of squats starts feeling the tiniest bit hard, you rack the weight. As soon as the bar speed slows down the tiniest bit, you think you're close to failure. You think you're done. Like, I'm here to tell you, bro, you have way more reps left. The last couple reps should all feel grindy. All of like the last like 5 reps, and in particular the last 2 reps of your set should feel like, whoa. Like, I wasn't even sure if I could get that rep. Now, there should be certainty. Let me make something clear. I don't mean that every rep you go for towards the back end of a set should be a 50-50 rep. It should more be like a 80-20 type of rep. 80% chance you're going to get it, 80% confidence, but 20% chance of, yeah, this guy might not come back up. You know, this bar might not come back up. There should be a nice little 80-20 split, right? But cool. Essentially, I've said the first thing I want to say, and that is most of you guys don't know how to train hard. So for the rest of this video, let me teach you how to. The first bit of advice for you beginners learn how to train hard, it's going to sound like if you're homeless, just buy a home. But the advice is just train hard. Okay, no, that was a shit way of me saying it. Just try going to failure. That's a better way of me saying it, right? Here's what I want you to do, right? I want you to know 2 things. Number 1, because you're a beginner, your recovery capabilities are very high. Your body is very sensitive to growth and it can recover quick. This is why a lot of beginner programs are every other day. Like, you motherfuckers can go in the gym on Monday, beat yourself up in a good way, rest just one day, rest just Tuesday, and then be back at it on Wednesday and fuck yourself up again in a good way. So because you motherfuckers have really strong recovery, really good recovery capabilities, what I recommend is just take every set to failure. You'll be good in terms of recovery. You won't beat yourself up too much. Now, there is a slight caveat to that. That's a fucking funky word, caveat. Caveat. What is that? So, anyways, forget that. What I'm saying here is take every set to failure, but be mindful of the exercises you choose. Because you guys are beginners, I don't want you taking something like barbell squats to failure. I don't want you taking something like deadlifts to failure, in which you fucking start twerking at the end of the rep. I don't want you taking bench press with no spotter to failure. Like, don't do that. Stick with more dumbbells, in which you can just drop them if you can't get it up, or machine, or the Smith machine, in which you can rack it, right? So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing is, here's what's interesting, right? Because you're a beginner and because you're so sensitive to growth and you basically can grow from fuck all stimulus, you actually don't need to go to failure. And this is where some really nerdy scientists might come along and absolutely rip my video to pieces and be like, no, this is wrong by science, this is wrong by science. Here's the thing, you don't actually need to go to failure to grow, but to learn how to train hard, I personally think, I recommend you go to failure. Because you're going to be able to recover from it, and you're going to learn the skill of training hard from an early age in your lifting career. Now, why is training hard important? I'll get onto that in a sec. Right before I tell you the second tip and a really, really underrated piece of advice for how to train hard. And that is to record your sets. Record your sets and watch back the footage, and you'll realize how you're probably not training that hard. I learned this the hard way when I started making videos and making content. When I would rewatch my sets and I would think like, oh damn, that's a good set. And I'd be watching myself, and then all of a sudden I rack the weight. And I'm thinking, am I bugging? Like, did I accidentally record like a warm-up set? Or like, why the fuck did I rack the weight so early? Like, the bar speed barely slowed down. It didn't look that hard. And then that's when I realized and I learned that there's a big discrepancy. This is what's crazy about gym. There's a big discrepancy from how a set feels to how a set looks. A set could feel really hard. You'd be in the moment thinking like, yeah, you're training really hard, you're pushing yourself really hard, and the last couple reps are slow and grindy. But then when you rewatch it on video, the last couple reps moved quite fast. Like on hack squats or just squatting variations in general, I'll go down in the hole, and on video, I'll come back up from the hole rather quickly. Like it wasn't that big of a grind. But I remember if I cast my mind back just, 30 seconds when I was doing that rep felt like fucking death. And so there's a very big discrepancy from how a rep looks and how a rep feels, which is why recording your sets will allow you to get a gauge on how close to failure you personally go and how your rep speed looks like when you get close to failure. Because you might be one of those guys in which the last couple reps, all of them look fast on video, but they felt tough in the set, which then means next time you do that exercise, try push the set a bit further. Where you would usually end it, try give it 1 or 2 reps. And if it turns out you do fail, then that's fine. That means the reps you were doing before were close enough to failure. But if you find out that you can still get those 1 or 2 extra reps, then this whole time, all the sets you were doing were very far from failure. You understand what I'm saying? So by videoing it, you'll be able to see the rep speed and you'll be able to get a gauge of how close to failure you train and how that looks on video. And that is a very important way, not an important way, a very important, very good method. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm bugging. That is a very good method of you training close to failure and getting some visual feedback on how you look when you lift, which is damn fucking important. I can't lie, recording yourself in the gym is an underrated tool, not only to improve your form, but to also see if you're training hard enough. Because too many times, and I'll put my hands up and I'll say I'm guilty of this. Too many times I've done a set that I thought was hard, then I rewatch it on video and I think like, damn bro, that was not hard at all. I could have definitely given it more reps. I could have so done better. And so I learned that recording your sets is damn helpful and I highly recommend everyone do it, right? So that's the 2 methods I recommend for learning how to train hard. Just take every safe exercise to failure, and provided, because you're a beginner, you'll be able to recover from it, so don't worry about that too much, and record your sets. That's the 2 main pieces of advice. Now, you could just click off this video now, but since you've invested so much, you might as well see it with me to the end of the ride, in which I'll now explain why learning to train hard is beneficial, and then we'll discuss if learning to train hard is even the most important thing, or if learning good technique is the most important thing. What are the benefits of learning to train hard? Well, as I've said, when you're a beginner, you can grow from basically any type of stimulus. You don't need to get that close to failure for you to produce a good enough stimulus for your body to adapt to and therefore give you bigger muscle. Because that's all you want. I know that's all you want. That's all I wanted when I was younger, and that's probably all you want. Just bigger muscles. You want to get jacked, bro. Who the fuck doesn't, right? So let's all get jacked together, innit? Pull some bitches together, go hit the beach, summer months, get your abs out. I know it, bro. I know it. I can relate to you. I understand where you're coming from, innit? You just want to get a fucking bolo to the max. So you just want to get jacked, right? And as a beginner, you don't need to do that much to get jacked. However, as you as you progress in your lifting career, your proximity to failure, in other words, how close to failure you get, becomes a way more important factor for making gains. As a beginner, your proximity to failure ain't that important. As long as you just, push a couple sets hard, you'll be good. But when you're an intermediate lifter, you got to push motherfuckers hard, bro. And by motherfuckers, I mean sets. Like, you got to push them sets hard. You got to get close to failure. If you're an intermediate lifter and you're not training close to failure, forget it. Forget it, bro. If you're looking to get jacked, forget it. Forget it. It's not going to happen. So the importance of hard training increases as your time spent in the gym increases. And if we can learn good habits now, if we can get you training hard now, you carry over those good habits into your training career, and you limit a potential plateau or a potential problem you might encounter in the future. Because imagine the case if you're not training hard as a beginner and you never really learn the skill of pushing hard, of telling your mind to shut the fuck up when it tells you, yeah, bro, we're done, let's rack the weight. If you don't learn the skill of pulling those ugly faces and grunting hard and doing those slow, tough, grindy reps and really going for it and enjoying the burn, if you don't learn that skill now, then later on in the line, when you're an intermediate lifter and when you need to get more muscles because you've linked all the babes in your area, now you need even more muscles to link babes from other areas of your surrounding towns, then you're going to run into a problem. You're going to be like, damn, like I'm an intermediate lifter. Everything I've done to get to this point now isn't working. What the fuck is wrong? Oh, I'll tell you what's wrong. You're not training to failure, bro. So you got to learn good habits from early. That's the first point. And the second point, which is quite quite helpful, you know, quite useful for us living in a busy world. It will cut down your time in the gym because now you need to do less sets. Simple example is you have one guy who's doing 4 sets, far from failure, right? I've spoke about something called effective reps on my channel before, and that effective reps say that the last 5 reps of a set are the ones that are most effective. I'll actually link that video somewhere here. I highly recommend you watch it. But basically, the quick gist of it is the last 5 reps of a set are the effective reps. They're the reps that are going to grow you and build your muscle, right? And you can have one guy who's doing 4 sets, but he's not training that close to failure. He's training close to failure, but not that close. And he's accumulating 1 effective rep per set. That guy, in the total of 4 sets he does, is going to accumulate 4 effective reps. So he's only done 4 reps at building muscle. You can have another guy, right, who, watch this now, listen to this, only does 2 sets, so he does half the work, half the volume, half the time spent in the gym, but he takes each set really close to failure and accumulates 5 effective reps per set. Because remember, like I said, effective reps work, the way they work is the last 5 reps of a set are the effective reps, and the closer you get to failure, so if you go to complete failure, you've accumulated 5 reps. If you stop 1 rep shy of failure, you've accumulated 4 effective reps. 2 reps shy of failure, you've accumulated 3. So that's how effective reps work, right? Just click this video and learn more. But essentially, this guy only does 2 sets but goes to complete failure, gets 5 effective reps on each set. That means he gets 10 effective reps in total for half the work. So hold on, we've got 2 guys here. One is doing half the work and getting fuck all results. One's doing double the work and getting fuck all results. Yeah, this guy's doing 4 sets. We've got a guy on this side who's only doing 2 sets, but getting more than like 3 times the effective reps. This guy's getting 10 effective reps. This guy on this side's only getting 4. So training close to failure just means you can do less, bro. Simple as that. Honestly, that's all I should have said. I should have just said, learn how to train hard to failure. Learn how to train hard, and then you have to do less sets because now each set is going to be more effective. That's probably all I should have said. Yeah. So yeah, that's how it works. If you want to learn more about effective reps, watch this video here. And now, final point of this video is I want to talk about, is it more important for a beginner to learn how to train hard or to learn good technique? Well, let me first say something. I don't think this is a debate. I don't think we're here debating which is more important and that one is significantly more important than another. No. If someone was to play devil's advocate on my video and say, no, training hard isn't the most important thing for a beginner, good form is, I would reply with, I agree. I 100% agree. I think good form is incredibly important. It is paramount for longevity in training because that's how you're going to prevent injuries and that's how you're going to get the most out of every single exercise you perform. And so I highly agree that form is incredibly important and it's up there with learning how to train hard. And me personally, I'm an absolute form nerd. Like, I am a nerd when it comes to my form. Like, my form needs to be right. It needs to be the best range of motion for me and all that good stuff, right? So I highly believe that form is important. But for the majority of you guys watching, majority of you guys just want to get jacked, right? You just want to build muscle. And that type of training is called hypertrophy training. And that type of training is more like bodybuilder style training. And hypertrophy and bodybuilder style training mostly uses machines. Now, not always. Of course, there are free weights, and we're not going to get into the whole machine versus free weights debate, but a lot of the movements are recommended to be machines because machines provide the most stability. Because of that, because a lot of hypertrophy training is machines, the technique requirements are quite low. You're going to learn how to use a machine optimally way quicker than you're going to learn how to bench press with a barbell optimally. You're going to learn how to use a hack squat you're going to learn how to use a hack squat way quicker than you are going to learn how to barbell squat. And so when it comes to getting jacked, when it comes to building fucking muscle, the technique requirements for that style of training are way lower than the technique requirements for maybe powerlifting or, not even maybe, like, yeah, literally for powerlifting or for Olympic weightlifting in which you're doing snatch and jerks and clean and jerks, right? And so if you are a powerlifter, if you're looking to compete in strength sports in which you are judged on how much weight you can lift on the squat, the bench press and the deadlift, then there is a much higher importance on technique. Technique is really important for you to learn because you must find out, trial, experiment and practice the optimal technique for you. And emphasis on optimal because 5 different people can do the squat, but it'll all look different because everyone's built differently and you must find the right technique and the right barbell placement on your back and the right way to grip the bar on the bench press for your particular build. You got to take your arm length into consideration. You got to take your leg to torso ratio in consideration. Like, there's a lot to consider when it comes to finding optimal powerlifting technique. And so what ends up happening is, for strength sports like powerlifting and Olympic weightlifting, technique is way more of an important thing. Like, it's way more important to get your technique down. Whereas for bodybuilding style training, in which you're using stable machines for a large portion of the training, technique isn't that important. And so I think for you guys, because you guys are on the bodybuilding, powerlifting type style, if you're trying to get fucking jacked out of your mind, for you motherfuckers, I don't think form is... Okay, no, let me take that back let me make sure I don't say that out of my mouth, because that would have been a lie. I was about to say, I don't think form is that important. That is not what I meant to say at all. I think form is really important. But what I meant to say was, I don't think form takes a major importance over training hard. I think they're neck and neck. You got to learn how to train hard, and you also got to get the right form down. And so that's my opinions on if form is more important for a beginner to learn, or if training hard is more important. I think both are just as important. But since we're bodybuilding here and not powerlifting, I don't think the importance of form significantly trumps the importance of training hard. So that's been my video on the most important training factor for beginners. Learn how to fucking train hard. You're going to do this by just attempting to train hard. Just take every set to failure and find out what happens. One thing I love about life is the more you fuck around, the more you find out. You know, I really like that. I think if I can get a picture of the image of the fucking graph on screen, I will. The more you fuck around, the more you find out. So just go gym, just fuck around, take a couple sets to failure, just fucking do it, bro. Just go to failure, just train right to when you can't even move the barbell anymore. Just fucking do it and find out, bro. I'm a big advocate for experience. I think experience is the best teacher. Forget any YouTube video. Forget a guy sitting in a bathroom with a beanie, with a mic on the beanie, telling you how to train hard. Instead, go to the gym and do it, bro. That's the best advice I could give to anyone. Secondly, record your sets so you can see yourself do it and put it on Instagram. And then thirdly, we spoke about the importance of training hard. It will just make future training way more effective, and it will make current training way more efficient, because now you only need to do about half the sets. And lastly, I gave my opinions on what I think is more important, form or training hard. And I made it specific to bodybuilding and or powerlifting / strength sports. So thank you for watching. If I'm on your screen right now, then I've kept your interest somehow. If you're interested in my free hypertrophy program, click this link right here. If you also want to get coached by me for completely free, yes, a free coaching call in which I teach you how to build your dream physique in 20-30 minutes or less, click the first link in the description. We'll hop on a call, we'll chat, we'll get to know each other. And with that being said, I'll catch you, bro, in the next video. Thank you for watching. You're the fucking man.